this? Well, not really. I just know, because I've done it so many times, and I have the analysis in the back, that this is adequate, this is reasonable for this applicant's request. I said that a bunch of times today. This is reasonable to their request to do. And so far, so good, but we'll get somebody who says, I'm not gonna do that, and they'll have to go to planning commission, or they'll have to come to the city commission or something, but that doesn't happen that often anymore. People kind of understand that if they come here, they're gonna do a little extra. Even if they don't have to come before planning commission, for example. If it meets all our ordinances, and we kind of look at it and go, well, you're moving this, or you're doing this, let's add some in there. But, so anyways, Dave, do you wanna comment at the bit there? I'm highlighting things, so I'm wondering if you're checking off your list on me.
Well, you just said a couple things that kind of resonated with me, engineering judgment. And so, the administration's worked very hard with engineers in their letters when they go to the planning commission, so that the planning commission can read that letter and understand that they have reviewed this, and they're saying that it's gonna be okay, whatever that is. And that was really important to me.
And we have to rely on that.
And that was not really easy for me to get by this guy. It took me a long time, probably a couple months. But I finally got it, and, but the reason I got it is because we have an expert here, and none of us are engineers or his type of engineering, and they don't represent the city. So there's a few things that are concerning to me: the legal risk, the fairness, and the expertise or the record. So in the planning commission, we have he's creating the record of saying that this is going to be okay. The planning commission could always ask questions and say, should we do more or whatever. But I've talked to Jamie to say when you provide the letter, that is what should be done. And my concern is that, and it hasn't happened recently, and at this planning commission, all the conversation went really well, and the questions were really well. But my concern is that if we're asking for more, just to ask for more, because asking for more is always better, but I don't think it's legally the right thing to do for us in the city. I don't know, Mark, if you...
Well, and your point, sometimes you have to take out a tree to put in a
Right.
leaching basin, and you don't want to do that either, so.
Well, and I think it's also important that if there's going to be a requirement imposed, that there be a basis for that. And I think if it's just so that we can say that we required further abatement of stormwater, then if you've got an expert opinion that something's sufficient, that should be it. You've got a record you rely upon. If you're going to be starting to ask for more, it makes it harder to defend if there's a challenge to it, in part because the immediate argument's going to be, this is what your expert said, why are you requiring more without some type of rationale for that additional requirement? So I think that's important, but also I think there's also an enforcement aspect of it too, is that all these improvements, they're not always going to work forever unless they're maintained. And so there needs to be some mechanism to maintain all these additional improvements. So if there's a simple rationale with an expert opinion backing it up, it's going to be easier then in the future to enforce a maintenance type request.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But anyways, so this whole thing came full circle, that we feel that what he's doing or what his team's doing is the right thing. And by looking back at these applications, that we feel it's working. So there's no need to change the ordinance, in our opinion.
Well, I have complete respect for you, and I always
That's my
respect
team, yeah.
you and Leah. You have great solutions for water runoff, and they're always seem to be right-sized. But what if you retire? I mean,
Yeah, so
you were very wise. You know our city very well.
Now that you're 50, I mean.
Yeah, I know. I played that lotto, though. I gotta be honest. I played that $1 billion lotto because I was like, oh man, can you imagine? So no, the greatest thing about HRC, and you can ask around, is to use a sports metaphor, like next person up, right? Like I took over for, we went through 3 partners in my career, and 2 big managers who managed everything. And I don't think you miss a beat, right? We have good staff. We have Leah she's got, our grads, Madison, we always have a grad engineer dedicated specifically to the city. Okay, so what I mean by that is we don't have these plan reviews out to 5 people. We train somebody the way we want it, we keep them involved. So the guys will, code enforcement or whatever, Dave, or we'll call Madison, hey, come look at this, right? So or Leah, or I'll do it. But what this made us do, and what I found was, as I was collecting my thoughts, I kind of created this outline, right? So I handed it to Madison. I go, "Are you doing all this?" She said, "Yep." And then she says, "I'm actually doing this," and she put some other things in there. So we will memorialize it, but I don't think that rises to the elevation of ordinance, right? I think it's more, if we had design standards, and if you had so much development or a growing community, up in the Independence Township, Clarkson area, or Macomb, we would have a book of guidance, right? That was like standards, if you will. We don't need that here. We have our ordinances, we have our standard details, we have our standard practice. Just never seemed to be appropriate. But I think it's doing a good job. And I think I'll go back and the back and forth Dave and I had on that was a two-way education, understanding what he was looking for, understanding the fact that I can't stand up here and ever go, "Do you swear this, Jamie, do you certify that this is never gonna be a problem?" Then I have to start going, it depends, right? An 11-year storm versus a 10-year storm on frozen ground, oh, the silt fence not in, oh, they didn't even, those nuances, and Dave and I worked that out and it's good to keep saying that over and over again. No, I'm not gonna certify the planning commission, there'll never be flooding or whatever, until you certify that it's okay, here's the storm event, right? Or here's the conditions. But we're doing the right job, and staff is doing the right job, the building people are doing the right job, administration, I think we're working our way through it very well. And so we kind of gloss over it a little bit sometimes at planning commission, but there's a lot of thought to it, and we're working on our letters to emphasize it, to provide more of those details. My presentations today and the applicant is doing this, to make sure, that it's out, and this is what they're doing, and it's a reasonable standpoint. So we're trying to get better on that. We're working on our presentation a little bit better so that planning commission, city commission, are comfortable with it. There's gonna be some weird ones, and we'll have to deal with them. There's no cookie cutter homes going on in Bloomfield Hills right now, so.
But we do have quite a few homes being built for our,
Yep.
size city, so.
Yep, and we look at every
it
single
is
one.
important, right?
We look at every single one, and we gauge it based on what it is, where it is, how it is, and on all of these characteristics. And what's nice is that your future residents or existing residents doing stuff in the city generally understand and know, and it's in, like to add trees or to add one more basin when they know they're asking for, a 10,000 square foot addition. They're very good, right? And the engineer, we've trained their engineers and architects pretty well too, where it used to be where we had to ask them for everything. Now they kind of come in with one, and we're like, we need one more. You know what I mean? So they're kind of getting it. And I thought planning commission saw that tonight, where a second, third presentation got two of their requests out, seeing what was happening at planning commission. So I think they're understanding a little bit better, but it will never go away. There'll be drainage and issues. We'll just deal with them as we come.
The problem, I see it as twofold, is we don't have anybody coming in. Everybody's coming in buying a 3,000-4,000 square foot home and building a 10,000 square foot home. I mean, no one's buying or building a smaller home at all. So that's one. Number two, I think people, I've learned this through the years of being on the planning commission, but when they say when they remove those big trees, the water, where's it gonna go? Because those trees suck up a ton of water. And that's where they're saying, well, I'm just gonna cut down these trees because this is where I want my house. And then you've disturbed the property, and it's like, where's the water gonna go, right? It's gonna go. So those are challenges for us and for, the new residents that come in to the city. But I think like today's example, where you had 2 cases where you knew there was going to be a water runoff, and you had suggested the leach, leach in basements or in basins. And I think we just need to be more conscious and do more of those, because it's even when Matt said, oh, these are deciduous trees or they're scrub trees or whatever. Well, it's a tree and it sucks up water.
And to that end, we have to respect the people coming in to build and the people who've been here for a while, right? But been around for 30-some years, not 30, 20, whatever years, almost 30. You can't say to me, like, this has never happened before, right? Or
Yeah.
you can't, it's very difficult to say, like, someone come in here, I've never had water in my backyard till this year. Well, how long have you lived here? 2 years. Well, listen, you haven't hit the big one yet, right? You know, but because we know those, because staff knows what those issues are, we tend to give them a little bit more attention, but we're not gonna let them an otherwise reasonable solution, you know, like you point out the low lying land, that's right, it's gonna be there. So what we do in perceptions rally, I never had a problem until they built. Well, we all know that, you know, like, no, there's always been water back here. I can show you the photos because I've been back there, you know, so it's, the system's working well, and I think, and we're gonna do a better job explaining it without just slowing every planning commission meeting down, every request down to go through the nitty gritty. It's just being handled in the background. We're gonna try to do a better job explaining it. So
Okay.
I'll be happy to answer any other questions. Dave, anything else on your list?
Well, thank you for.
Thank you for being.
I saw him over there. I'm like, okay, the boss is happy.
Move on.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, the commission will now consider approval of the Oakland County Equalization Assessing Contract.
Thank you. So the commission is already aware from previous communications that our assessing fees are increasing. Oakland County came to us in May and advised us that our fees, along with all their other communities, were gonna go up in the city's 46%, or around $20,000. So upon hearing that, we started looking at all of our options. We spoke to a couple of different assessing companies, and we went out for an RFP, and unfortunately we didn't receive any responses. So, but the good news is Oakland County has always provided us with exceptional service. They've been our assessors for a long time. They have a lot of knowledge, both of the city and just their expertise. I've worked with the county for about 15 years now, and I can't say I've ever had a negative experience with the assessing team. Actually, I've had very positive experiences with them, and you know, not having any quotes is disappointing because we don't have a way to measure the expenditure that they put in front of us, but I highly recommend that we stay with the county. At this point, it's really our only option, but even moving forward, they do such an exceptional job that I would recommend that we can, approve
Did they
the
say
3-year
why
contract.
Why they increased so dramatically?
Yes, they actually, it sounds like that they looked at not just assessing, but other departments as well. But assessing, they weren't recouping all of their money or all of their funds for their services. So the unfortunate thing is they came to us at the last minute. We didn't appreciate that piece of it, nor did the other communities. So a lot of communities started looking elsewhere as well. Some did find services, but we just didn't have any bids. And the two companies that I did reach out to, they just didn't, one didn't return my call and the other one didn't have the capacity to take on another community. But I think getting back to your question about why they did it is, I think they just needed to recoup, and they pushed it through quickly. And it just happened to be at our budget time and a lot of the other communities' budget time. But we did include it in the budget because we did know just before, the budget was passed. But so I think the plan moving forward will be to, continue to, or try and have more of a conversation with them. But I do know the assessing team themselves, they weren't involved in it. It was the finance committee and the commissioners that passed it. But, we'll continue to have conversations, especially as it comes due and before the 3 years are up, and to try and prevent the surprise, increase.
Do we know if they're treating other customers the same as they're treating us in terms of the pricing increases?
Yes, it's every community is now has the same cost.
Same cost.
yes, it's a per parcel cost that they, put to all communities. So they don't look at the, or the size of the parcel or the complexity of the parcel, they just, have put a flat fee across.
So that's why it's hurting smaller lot communities a lot harder, correct? Because it's per lot, correct?
I believe that's how
Yeah,
it,
that's true.
it came out, yeah.
We don't have that many, do we?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like larger
Yeah,
lots.
we
Our lack of density helps us in this
Plays
case.
to our
Yeah,
advantage,
yeah.
yes.
I did provide, in one of my weekly reports, I did provide a report that the county did to explain the reason. I can forward that to you.
Yeah, I'd like to-
Oh, it is what it
Okay.
is.
So
Okay.
I believe I need to make a motion to approve the contract.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to hear a motion to approve the contract as presented.
I'll make a motion. The city having found no alternative no alternative provider for these services after exercising due diligence, I move that we approve the contract for the Oakland County Equalization Division Assistance for Real and Personal Property Assessment Administration Services in the form included and at the rate stated in the contract, which is included in our agenda packet tonight, which has been approved by our city attorney, and authorize and direct our city manager, David Hendrickson, to execute and deliver the contract to Oakland County.
Is there a second? Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Commission will now consider the approval of the Encode Plus ordinance service contract.
Thank you, Mayor. We're pretty excited to get to obtain our zoning code reorganization tool. And we went through reviewing the product, a couple of products, and then we went through reviewing the additions, and we're at the point now, we'd like the city commission to consider the actual contract. So we did receive the contract from Encode Plus and provided it to our city attorney. He actually included his review letter in your packets. He did find a couple of issues, and we believe we corrected those issues, at least to the satisfaction of our city attorney. And we want to see what the city commission thinks about the contract. If you have any questions, we can answer. We actually brought along our IT expert, Captain Dustin Lockhart, because this is an IT issue, and I'm certainly not well versed on that. So if you have any questions to either Captain Lockhart or city attorney, me.
I wanted to just point out that we have a timeline to meet in terms of providing them with information and authorizations and so forth. And as Mark pointed out in his memo, there is a penalty if we create a substantial delay in that. Do we feel, the people who will be providing the information and the authorizations, do we feel like we can meet those? Because the penalty is, I think it works out to a little over $500 a month for our failure, or for our creation of a material delay. So I just wanted to be sure we were comfortable with the
Yeah, do we
number
have-
of days and so forth for the deliverables and.
I can make a comment on that. How I see that is, Encode Plus is gonna count on us to get them the information so they can take that information and reorganize it. So I see, the city administration not having a problem with that. Probably our assistant city manager, city clerk would have her hands in that most, so I'd like to ask her if that's how you see this.
Yes, absolutely. I think this project is something that the team's been looking forward to, and we're grateful that the commission was interested to hear the goal come to this point. We're excited and we're grateful, and I don't see a problem with the timeline.
Thank you.
Great.
I did just point out that there is, like, I think it's just an error in Exhibit B, but there, at the bottom of the chart, it says total annual license and maintenance, $51,690. That's the total annual license and maintenance, that's the total license for the first year, not the annual maintenance. The annual maintenance is $3,700. So it's just that the title of that line, I think, needs to be corrected to make sure that it's only the first year that we're paying 51,690, and it also would apply to the payment schedule below. That's only for the first year, just to clarify that. And then I pointed out too that the notice, our attorney notice is still, it says Dirk Becker-Legg. We have to change that to Mark Roberts. And thank you, Mark, for the analysis. It was very helpful. I found that extremely helpful. I really appreciated that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the contract? May I hear a motion to approve the amended contract, including the amendments just stated by Commissioner Buckley?
Move to approve. I second it.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries to approve the Encode Plus ordinance service contract.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Commission will now hear city manager's comment.
Well, I wanted to briefly just, commend our chief, but I already did that. And also, if the commission would oblige me, I just wanted to mention Mark Roberts. So, our city attorney primarily works with me most of the time, really, because we're always looking at legal issues. So, I just wanted to say that, Mark was recommended by Dirk Becker-Legg, and I'm happy he did. Mark's been with us now for 6 months, and since assuming the role of city attorney, he has been diligent, thorough, and committed to protecting the city's legal interests. He just completed this most recent review of contracts, and this is the type of work he does. It's very, very thorough, and he writes these reports like this. And to me, it's extremely helpful. I found that Mark's been consistent. And he works to ensure that our ordinances and procedures are applied properly and consistently. His work has strengthened our operations and given staff confidence in the legal foundation of our decisions. So I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but Mark's been doing this for over 30 years in a municipal situation. So I just wanted to, that fact is evident with my, working with him. And I believe primarily, it's me and probably Amy that works with Mark the most. I think you feel the same. I just appreciate.
I think his role is
yeah.
important at the planning commission and zoning board too.
Yeah, Mark's gonna try to
That
find
role
his
is
way
very
with the
important.
planning commission over time. I think. But I appreciate the commission obliging me with this because you're not going to know unless I tell you behind the scenes what's going on. And Mark's a man of few words, but he is. I think his just unassuming, thorough way about him has been very helpful for us, and I think he's going to do a great job for us. So I just wanted to mention that.
It's been 6 months. You're having so much fun. Time goes fast. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to mention Mark.
And we're getting better at the planning commission, huh?
Oh, yeah, you're doing fine.
You want him to answer that?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great. Everything's fine.
and that's all I have.
Okay, does anyone have any other business they'd like to discuss?
I do, Mayor, if I may. It was interesting, we had, at the planning commission meeting today, we had 5 big issues, 5 big pieces of property and big houses and things like that. And, they're building 10,000 square foot homes, and they're putting pools, and they're putting sports courts, and they're putting gazebos, and it's not just a home anymore. It's all these other structures. And after the meeting, a resident came up who was sitting. I noticed this couple back there. They didn't comment or anything, but they were just sitting there. And she came up and said, "I just want to say, we came here because they had bought 3 acres and they wanted to know what we look for, you know, and I thought that was great that they did that. But she said, please protect our city. And she said, please protect the open space, the 80-20. She said, you know, it's just, she goes, they're just throwing, she goes, keep our green space, keep, you know, the divisions between the properties and the, you know, the big lots and everything. I don't know, I just wanted to share that because I thought it was really interesting that, you know, she didn't have an agenda item, she just wanted to see how we did things, but when she see these big things and the big lots, she, you know, she's right.
I heard the tail end of the conversation, and she said, thank you for preventing a Bigfoot situation. And,
Yeah,
you know, it was nice to hear from a resident that
yeah.
the commission's doing.
Yeah, and then, I know I'm a broken record on this, Amy, but the, voting booth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I went to the neighborhood picnic and talked to people. I'm like, you know, you're not voting at Unitarian Church. And they're like, what? So how else are we going to let them know besides, I looked on the voter registration card, which I never look at.
Yep.
But I did see that, but I mean, I never look at that. So how else will we do it? Just be
Sure.
the voting day?
No, so the voter ID card is the requirement by law, so that's the absolute bare minimum. But as I mentioned last month, it's not all that we're going to do. So I've put it on Facebook. It's on our website. There will be an e-newsletter going out 3 times before Election Day, and then there's a direct mailing that will go out to everyone in the
Oh,
city.
good. Okay.
As well as someone will be stationed at the Congregational Church, which is where the precinct was, to direct people on Election Day if they were to, in case they show up to Congregational Church, and then we'll let them know where they need to go. There's going to be signage all over the Kingsley Hotel. They have been incredible in working with me because it's not a use that they're typically, you know, it's not what they're usually using their ballroom for. So we're going to have signage in the parking lot, signage near the ADA compliant parking spaces, and then extra election workers stationed on the hallways to give people direction to the ballroom space. So I'm not considering this a permanent change. It's a change for this election.
Oh, okay.
And we'll evaluate it. I'll evaluate it next election year then and bring it to the city commission going
Given
forward.
the timing, does it make sense on the website to just have it be the first thing that pops up on the main, instead of having to go to voting, you know, just some line that says, did you know your voting location might be changed?
Sure, yeah, I can
Or
good
something.
idea.
find a way to
Really
make
good
Because
idea.
if someone's wondering, oh, I wonder where I vote, you know,
That's a good idea.
they're gonna go online
Yeah.
first.
Mhm.
Try not to bother you.
Yeah, no, we're happy. You may, if you vote absentee, you may have got your application for absentee ballot. So those have been sent, the application has been sent out. But the staff up front who usually are the first individual to take a phone call, they've all been notified on the change in location. So if they're talking to someone that's in that precinct, they're making a point to mention it to the resident too that they're speaking to. So I'm open to all suggestions, but I really want to make sure that the community knows. This is a very common thing to have to change a precinct location. It's just not common for Bloomfield Hills. So I understand.
As I say, Amy, I've been here 20 years. I've always voted at the same place.
Yeah, I was the one that changed it to the church because it used to be at Cranbrook. So
Oh.
that Cranbrook
Yes,
location.
I went to the Cranbrook Middle School,
Yes. Mhm.
right on Vaughan there,
Mhm.
right,
Okay.
originally.
And there's 2 parking spots there, so that's a horrible
That was
location
crazy,
to
yes.
have voting. Mhm.
That whole horseshoe was a line of people going, oh,
Yes.
crazy,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for changing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
And I take all suggestions if there's other ideas.
So you're gonna think of where we would do it again next year if we don't do the Kingsley, right?
Yeah, I'm going to evaluate it because I think, as I had a conversation with you outside of this forum, but I did mention last month, there is the opportunity to consolidate into one precinct location. The issue that we have, it would be wonderful if everyone could come here to City Hall and vote. We cannot accommodate the parking. There are other compliant locations in the city, but we also have to have that location agree to let us use their space. And Election Day isn't convenient for a facility that may have a school, they may have class, or they may have there's other churches. They may have a preschool in their building that they don't want to cancel
Right.
preschool that day. So there's a lot of considerations. The Kingsley Hotel, it has, like I said, have been great to work with. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great, thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you
here.
very much
Thank
for all
you.
your hard work with the
Yeah.
voting and everything.
Thank you.
A lot of work, thank you. So this concludes our public portion of the city commission meeting. The commission will now enter a closed session to discuss union negotiations. This requires a roll call vote. I will call on each commissioner individually for their vote. Commissioner David Fisher.
Here.
Commissioner Susan McCarthy.
Here.
Commissioner Brad Baxter.
Here?
Commissioner Alice Buckley. Thank you. All like you. So, there's no further business. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Thank you.